You've been doing everything right. You've been kind, available, consistent, and somehow none of it is working. Not because you're not enough, because desire doesn't respond to effort the way you think it does. You were told that attraction is simple. Be a good person. Show up. Be reliable. Communicate openly. Treat her well. And somewhere in that logic, you believed that enough goodness would eventually convert into desire. So you optimized for goodness. You made yourself easier to be around. You removed friction. You became the person who never caused discomfort, never created uncertainty, never asked for too much. You thought you were building something. You were actually dismantling something. Because here's what nobody told you. Desire and comfort are not the same force. In fact, they often work against each other. The moment you became completely predictable, completely available, completely safe, something shifted. Not in her character, in her nervous system. Because the brain doesn't generate desire for things it already owns. It generates desire for things it's still reaching for. You removed all the reaching. You handed everything over immediately. And what felt like generosity to you felt like the end of pursuit to her biology. This isn't about playing games. This is about understanding what actually triggers the system. Female desire isn't primarily activated by niceness. It's activated by tension, by polarity, by the feeling that something real is at stake. When a woman is deeply attracted to someone, she is not attracted to how much he does for her. She is attracted to how he makes her feel about herself when she is around him. And more specifically, to the uncertainty of whether she fully has him. That uncertainty is not cruelty. It's chemistry. The brain is wired to pursue what it hasn't fully resolved. An open loop creates obsession. A closed loop creates comfort. Comfort is valuable in a relationship, but it is the enemy of early desire. The men who generate intense attraction are rarely the most generous. They are the most internally anchored. They have a gravitational center that doesn't move when she pulls away. They have standards that don't collapse under pressure. They have a life that continues whether she's in it or not. That's not coldness. That's what confidence actually looks like from the outside. And the nervous system reads it as, this person has value I haven't fully accessed yet. There's something else. Polarity. Desire requires difference. It requires a felt sense that you are not the same, that there is a masculine and a feminine energy in tension with each other. When you over-accommodate, when you mirror her emotions too closely, when you erase your own perspective to maintain peace, you collapse that polarity. And when polarity collapses, attraction follows shortly after. Emotional contrast also matters more than most people realize. The moments that generate the deepest emotional imprinting, the memories that make someone feel something, are rarely calm ones. They are moments of unexpected depth, sudden intensity, a conversation that went somewhere real. A moment where you said something she didn't expect, where you held a boundary she thought you would fold on. These contrasts create emotional spikes, and emotional spikes create attachment. If you continue optimizing for approval, you will keep getting something that looks like appreciation, but feels like nothing. She will like you, she will respect you, and she will not think about you when you're not in the room. You will wonder why someone who seems to enjoy your company doesn't seem to crave it. You will confuse her politeness for possibility. You will invest more, hoping the gap closes. And the more you invest without that underlying tension, the more the dynamic calcifies into something comfortable and platonic, even when it was never supposed to be. The confusion is the most painful part, because nothing you did was wrong, exactly. It just didn't speak the right language. Here's the distinction that changes everything. Validation and desire are opposites. When you make someone feel completely accepted, completely safe, completely certain of your interest, you have given them validation. And validation, while meaningful, does not produce longing. It produces security. Security is what you want inside a committed relationship. But in the early stages, before commitment, before investment, before emotional anchoring, security kills the signal. Desire lives in the space between connection and uncertainty. It needs both. Full connection with zero uncertainty is friendship. Zero connection with full uncertainty is anxiety. But connection with just enough uncertainty, that is where attraction ignites. The men who understand this are not manipulating. They are simply not overfunctioning. They are not chasing. They are not explaining themselves endlessly. They are not shrinking to make someone comfortable with them. They are letting the tension exist rather than immediately resolving it. You have been optimizing for the wrong signal. You've been reading her comfort as attraction. You've been reading her openness as desire. You've been interpreting the absence of conflict as the presence of chemistry. And those are completely different things. Comfort is what people feel around furniture that fits well. Desire is what people feel around something they haven't fully figured out. You were trying to become easier to have. And what she needed to feel attracted was something harder to predict. The version of you that bends to fill every emotional gap she presents. That version is not seen as devoted. It is seen as available. Availability, taken too far, removes you from the category of people worth pursuing and places you in the category of people who are simply there. What actually works is harder to fake and simpler to understand. Have a center that doesn't shift when pushed. Have interests, standards, and directions that exist independently of her attention. Be genuinely interested without being immediately consumed. Let there be moments of silence and absence that you don't rush to fill. Say less than you feel in the early stages. Let her wonder, not because you're performing mystery, but because you are actually anchored in your own reality and not waiting for her response to tell you who you are. The difference between a man who creates attraction and a man who creates comfort often comes down to one thing. Who is more okay with walking away? Not as a tactic, as an actual truth about his life. Desire is not something you earn through service. It is something you trigger through presence, tension, and the quiet signal that you are not incomplete without her. The men who are deeply wanted are not the most devoted before they've been chosen. They are the most themselves. And that selfhood, that groundedness, reads as value in a language that has nothing to do with logic. You were never the problem. The framework you were given was. You were handed a map for building trust and told it was a map for building attraction. And you followed it faithfully into the wrong destination. The truth was never comfortable, but it was always there. You just weren't supposed to know it.